With little or no editing, it's defense up. I'm Run 7. How you doing? Today we had Pathfinder on the line. He's helping me out with these teams. He wanted to give ElectricWheels a really good grade and made it hard for me to trash this defense. Now, ElectricWheels is 24 million, pushing into Diamond 2. And they're going full offense and trying to save their defense for the event that's going on right now. There's a lot of small kind of filler teams in here. And we wanted to trash them and replace them and lots of stuff, but there's not a lot that we could do with ElectricWheels roster. So we're going to go over this one and see what we can do with what is existing here. Remember, we grade on 5 different criteria. It's who you're using, their placement, their power levels, their ISOs, and what kind of mood I'm in. Team number 1 is the Axemen. We definitely need a placement change on this. Some people like to put Bishop between other targets, trying to knock them below certain health levels to trigger that speed up for Beast. I don't think he should ever be anywhere near Beast for sure. So the traditional and easiest placement is just put Bishop out on the edge, then go Iceman, Kitty, then Beast and Jubilee, or Jubilee and then Beast. As long as Jubilee and Beast are as far away from possible, then it's usually the best. The ISOs are fine. Everything's okay. So I'm going to give this one an A-. Over here, we have the Infinity Watch. Now, Pathfinder was pretty adamant that I remind people that Infinity Watch is not the only counter to Death Seed. There's other stuff out there. You could just mirror Death Seed if you want, plus some other little niche things. But you don't have to pull this off of your defense if you don't want to. But I pulled it off my defense because I do use it into Death Seed. It's, for me, what works the best. The ISOs are great. The placement's great. Everybody's got their favorite placement on this one, so we don't argue the placement on this one too much. But we do like a lot of strikers, and Nebula as a skirmisher. This one is an A for this team. It's also very good at soaking up efficiency points, so it's kind of nice to be put on defense. All right, Web Warriors. This is the worst one right here. This is the thing we have the biggest problem with. Web Warriors, much like Hero Asgardians, are very easy to destroy quickly and efficiently. You can use a Star-Lord T'Challa hybrid comp with a bunch of other mismatched stuff, some Hero for Hire girls in here, and they just wreck this thing with Taskmaster. But you can also just go into it with Bionic Avengers, which everyone has Bionic Avengers, and they can literally punch up 300k on auto and just destroy this team. It's going to lose. It does nothing for you. Even at 1 million, you're better off replacing this with a 700k ramshackle of just big junk that you've got left over that has no synergy. That's gonna do better than this will. So get rid of this team no matter what. For me, this is a C-. It is absolute filler, and it's not even good filler. Team number 4 is the War Dogs. We would like to have this one pulled for offense if possible. War Dogs have a lot of good things that they can do. They're incredibly fast. They can take care of a lot of teams with their speed and opening power. They're just a useful tool to have in your arsenal, especially when you're going full offense right now during the event. Otherwise, this is pretty good. I personally like Nakia dead center in the middle because she goes invisible, but as long as you're dividing up your 2 Black Panthers, you're probably okay. I like to keep Okoye away from Black Panther as well. Every once in a while, you come across a team that has a really small Okoye, and you can just kind of clip her off quick and early, and then they can't do that counter assist attacks, and it brings down their explosive opener. But of course, that's pretty niche there. You got to be going into something with something fast. Anyway, this is pretty good. I'm going to say A-. Just a placement tweak could improve it, but you're already where it's at. The big thing is probably pull it and go to offense. Over here, we have Team 5. This is YA. Another team that can soak up a lot of efficiency. You know, you don't go into this with something simple. You need to blow it up big or come in with a specific counter. I use Doom A-Force on it. However, that has a 25% chance of fail rate because if Doom doesn't get the energy, kind of up the river without a paddle. So we talked about placement changing, but really, no matter all the efficient counters into this team, it really doesn't matter where you place stuff. So placement has kind of gone by the wayside with this. Much like the Infinity Watch, we don't really care where they're placed anymore. This team doesn't really matter where you place things. Personally, I think maybe we should switch like Echo and Squirrel Girl might be useful, or Kate Bishop and Squirrel Girl just to get her off the edge. That's a thing you can do because a lot of times with like the A-Force counter with Doom, you go into it with the Spider-Woman special on Squirrel Girl to ability block her, and then the chain can go either direction. So I like to have Squirrel Girl off of the edge for that reason, but that's about it. And even that doesn't matter quite so much. So either way, a lot of strikers and a skirmisher. You got healer on Squirrel Girl, that works. You can put striker on Squirrel Girl as well. I'm going to go ahead and give this team an A. It's done well enough. Over here is Gamma in 6. Huge team. Now we went all healers except for striker on Red Hulk. So here's the thing. If you're going to go full healers but have something different on Red Hulk, it should be Raider or healer for that composition. Striker doesn't add a ton of value. Yes, his bleeds get more damage because he's a striker. Yes, he hits a little bit harder because he's a striker, but he doesn't get the double tap, and that's kind of the important part of being a striker. There are no vulnerables going onto the field with this composition. So our recommendation is change him to a Raider, which is more useful, unless you want to change everybody back to their traditional, which would be Skirmisher on Brawn, Raider on Abomination, Skirmisher on She-Hulk, and Striker on Green Hulk, and then you have him, Red Hulk, as a striker, and you get a lot of value out of him that way. But I like all healers on everybody. I like healers on everybody and Raider on Red Hulk. So some different ways that you can go, but I think this is probably the worst way to go if you want to switch up those ISOs. I would recommend you do not go blue for anything on anyone at this time. Don't look at my roster, but that's what we came up with. There's some other things that we can do in this room, like we could go Red Hold, the Dark Hold with Red Hulk. You could try Red Seed, the Death Seed with Red Hulk. But we just kind of like putting Red Hulk in this room. You can also move Gamma to 5 if you want. That works pretty well. Or you could, move the remaining members of Gamma. If you leave Red Hulk in here with some other team, you can move the remaining members into 5 and put somebody like Cap Sam or Captain America or even Thor in there if you want. Those are some ideas, but honestly, this is probably going to work well enough. I do recommend changing him to a Raider or a healer if you want to keep this team as a healer. So for me, this is going to get a B+. I think that Striker is detrimental with this composition. I think you'd be better off with something else. All right, so that's it for Electric Wheels. I hope you guys found something useful out of this. We like to try and generate some decent ideas for a variety of rosters because remember, your roster varies a lot from everybody else that we show. So don't get excited about doing just one thing and one thing only. Every time I talk to Pathfinder or any of the other community assistance crew members, they always tell me whatever I'm doing is wrong, and it's usually because I'm doing what they told me to do last week, and it changes just that fast. So keep an eye on what you can do, get creative, and send those ideas in to me. Links in the description. Send me some photos and we'll get your defense posted here on Defense Up. Remember guys, don't just have a good game, be good to yourselves and others too, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.